Hey students, this is Professor Lorenzo and welcome to today's lesson. Today we're going to build on what we've been working on for the last couple of weeks, which is proper essay structure, and hopefully we'll add a little bit in there about focusing your essay. So when we begin writing an essay, there's a few things we need to do. First of all, of course, we need to choose a subject. After choosing a subject, we need to at least do some minor research to determine what questions we want to ask or points we want to make in our essay. And of course, we want to create an outline, which we've been working on here lately. And then we want to focus our essay with a thesis statement and then write the final essay. So we're going to start with number 3, creating an outline. And what we'll do is take a look at a completed outline. Now, we've been working on outlines for quite a while now. We've had a couple of lessons on it, so you guys should all be familiar with it. So I'm not going to go over an outline point by point, but what we do want to do is identify how that outline relates to our essay, and then also talk about how it focuses our essay, and then we'll complete the essay here in a minute. So remember, this is our outline. The outline needs to be formatted just like an essay. We have to, in the upper left-hand corner, we have to have our heading. In the upper right-hand corner, we need to have our page number with our name. If you don't remember how to do that, there's a last week's lesson on MLA structure that you can refer back to that shows you how to do the formatting properly. Here we have our title, our properly formatted title. Remember, MLA structure requires that any words 4 letters or more should be capitalized. And of course, any words that are less than 4 letters can be capitalized if they're important to the title. Here we have our introductory paragraph, part of our outline, which includes our hook. Colorblind people have empty and boring lives because they can't experience true beauty. Then we have our supporting sentences. Remember, you need to have at least 2 supporting sentences in your introductory paragraph. And then we have our thesis, and our thesis is where the entire essay is focused from. So let's read our thesis real quick. We have, so the only people who deserve to walk this earth are people who can appreciate different shades in nature, in the sky, and skin color. Remember that your body paragraphs 1, 2, and 3 need to refer back to the 3 points you made in your thesis statement. So the first is about people who can appreciate different shades in nature, which is our first main point. The second is about in the sky, which we have right here, and the third is skin color. So your body paragraphs, the first paragraph, you're going to tell the reader, how people who can appreciate different shades in nature deserve to walk this earth. And then we're going to do the same with people who can appreciate different shades in the sky. And then we're going to do the same with people who can appreciate different shades in other people's skin. And then we'll, of course, finish with a conclusion, which we'll talk about a little bit more here in a minute. Remember, an introductory paragraph is the most important. Well, let's back up. Maybe not the most important, but it's an extremely relevant part of your entire essay because everything flows from your introductory paragraph. Many of you have expressed your frustration with writing essays, and of course this little piece of text right here agrees with you, but it's not very difficult when you learn the structure. Again, this is what we've been talking about in class. Remember, every great introductory paragraph begins with a hook. It can be a brilliant opening line that includes an anecdote, an intriguing fact, a playful joke, or even an emotional appeal. It does not begin with a question. It is okay in some classes that you begin an essay with a question. I'm not telling you that's a total no-no, but I just don't want to do it on these essays. I don't want to begin with the question because it's kind of like the easiest way to do it. We prefer you begin your introductory paragraphs with a statement instead of a question for my class. If you're having trouble with hooks, here are some suggestions. I'm not going to go over each one of them, but you can go back to today's static lesson and you'll see them. But remember, we don't want to open up with a question. We just don't want to do that. So when basically you have only 6 to work with in my class. So how do I focus my essay? Well, they're talking about here in terms of focusing your essay is making sure that your body paragraphs refer back to your thesis statement. So the first sentence of each of your body paragraphs should make a point that clearly relates back to the focus statement. The focus statement, which of course is the thesis. Each paragraph should contain important relevant information to the paragraph's opening sentence, and this information should include an explanation of how or why the point you're making relates back to the focus statement, again, the thesis statement. Make sure you keep and carry through the promise you made to the reader. The promise you made to the reader is in your thesis statement. This visual suggests that the best way to check for your thesis statement is to underline it. But because you have an outline already, you shouldn't have to underline it. Just go back to your outline and look at the introductory paragraph part of it and just go to the third point so you know what your thesis statement is. So this visual is talking about supporting sentences, and what it means is the supporting sentences of your body paragraphs. In other words, paragraph 2, 3, and 4. And what it's telling you is that the topic sentence in your body paragraph, the first sentence, should be a nice hook. But of course, it should always refer back to your thesis statement. So your topic sentence in your body paragraphs should have 2 points. It should be another hook, which gets the reader interested, and it should also refer back to your thesis statement. And then you have supporting sentences that act just like they do in the first paragraph. So here's a little video about supporting sentences.
Supporting sentences. The middle sentences of a paragraph are the supporting sentences. Supporting sentences explain or prove the idea in the topic sentence. They are the filling in a paragraph, a sandwich. Supporting sentences add information about the topic and the controlling idea. Supporting sentences can include definitions, explanations, and examples. Read the topic sentence and the types of supporting sentences that might follow it. Here is the topic sentence. Young people are too dependent on computers. In this topic sentence, remember, the topic is young people, and the controlling idea are too dependent on computers. A supporting definition could be, dependency on computers means that young people cannot perform the normal tasks and functions of daily life without them. Let's go to a supporting explanation. In the old days, people memorized important information, but today's youth rely on their computers and save important information. Let's take a look at a supporting example. For example, I do all of my schoolwork on my computer. When my computer crashed last week, I lost my only draft of an essay that was due the next day. As a result, I got a bad grade. Now, please remember what I told you earlier. Supporting sentences can include definitions, explanations, and examples that I have just discussed with you. If you need to review the items again, please view the video one more.
So remember, the introductory paragraph will finish up with the thesis statement, and we'll look at everything on one page again here in a minute. But this was a pretty good video on a thesis statement. I know I've been beating this thing to death, but we just just need to impress upon you how important your thesis statement is, which is why we spend so much time talking about it. So here you go.
In order to write a successful essay, it is vital to formulate a clear, specific thesis statement. The thesis states the point of your paper. It tells the reader what your paper is about. Think of this thesis as a one-sentence summary of the essay. A thesis will have a topic and a claim. The claim tells the reader your attitude, your opinion, or your point about the topic. Finally, a thesis should include specifics about the points or the areas that you will use to explain your claim. identifies the topic and the attitude, but it also identifies the 3 types of problems that will be covered in the essay. Here's another example. The thesis identifies the topic, the claim, and the 3 major points that will be used in the essay to support the claim. The thesis is the heart of the essay. Without a thesis, your essay will be as good as dead. In order to write a successful essay, it is essential to formulate a clear, specific thesis statement.
So, again, remembering the supporting paragraphs should tackle only one point of the thesis statement. Each one begins with a topic sentence. That should also be a nice little hook. And when we finally do our conclusion, I don't want you ever using the term in conclusion. And that may be okay for some English classes. I'm not telling you it's a total no-no, but I prefer that you're more creative when you finish up your conclusions. So let's not use in conclusion. We can use thus, therefore, finally, as expressed, or whatever. But never use in conclusion. It is important to have a strong conclusion since this is the last chance you have to make an impression on your reader. The goal of your conclusion isn't to introduce any new ideas. Don't add any new ideas there. You're only talking about, you're finishing on what you were talking about in your 3 points from your thesis statement. And specifically, your conclusion should accomplish 3 major goals. Those goals should be to restate the thesis in different words. Don't use the exact same words you used in your thesis statement from the introduction. Make reference to your hook, and to summarize your main points in 1 sentence. So here is a completed outline, the same one we started this lesson with. You'll see the conclusion at the end here, how I chose to finish this up. And hopefully it's a good guide for you when you finish up your essay. So good luck with today's lesson. Remember, there is a quiz you need to take in order to be considered present in today's class. Good luck with this week's essay, and I'll see you in the classroom soon.